Hello and welcome back to In the Gray Area with Rev Health. I am Brittany.
And I'm Travin.
And today we are going to talk about sex and diving into things that are important in all relationships that don't get talked about enough. You know, the connection between sex and hormones is huge. And a lot of times, like especially when we see people coming into the clinic, it's something that they're almost a lot of doubt or worry and shame that's kind of built behind speaking about this topic.
I think there's a lot of shame. I think that's like a good word to use. And it seems crazy because it's almost like sex is still kind of a taboo topic, it seems like, in our society right now. So there's almost this element of people, they're nervous or embarrassed or don't even know how to bring it up or how to initiate these conversations, especially with like their normal medical provider when they go see their primary care doctor, for example. Like it's really hard to squeeze it in that, 7 or 10 minute window you have to squeeze in how do you bring up the topic of like having erectile dysfunction, or if you're a woman and you have pain during intercourse or vaginal dryness, or all these things that people deal with in this sexual dysfunction. It can be awkward to bring up, or people might not even realize the right way to even approach that subject with their doctor.
Yeah. And sometimes there's also just definitely that embarrassment behind it. I think maybe more so for men.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I think that's like the one thing that if we could drive home, is that so many people are dealing with all these same issues. And it's just, we talk about it being a part of aging, and unfortunately it is a part of aging, but that doesn't mean that you have to live with it. We have so many tools that can help men and women. Like, why would you not do something that you enjoy any longer? Like, you should be able to have a very fulfilling sex life up until the time you die, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but that's a good point, because for some people, they don't enjoy it. And that like brings me back to just recently when I was jumping on Instagram, and I came across these two females who are supposed to be like your every day-to-day, like mothers, friends, that have a massive following. And they were talking about how they feel like their husbands have to earn sex. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of used against them. And in this aspect, she was talking about how he has to wine and dine her, and he has to like buy her purses, and and then she'll reward him with sex. And to me, that was extremely sad to see that. And she has a huge following. So this is being like projected, this narrative, onto a lot of females, thinking that they can withhold sex, which should be something that is beautiful inside a relationship. And it should like even help be a building block into the connection between the two of you.
Yeah. What were some of the comments like in that section? Like, was it mixed? Like, did people have different opinions on it?
They were all feeding off of each other. It was extremely negative. And when I did reach out and say like, hey, maybe have you guys thought about having your hormones checked? And this would be great for both of you. One lady told me that I wasn't giving them any hope and that I was delusional. And actually, she went onto my page and said I was some fitness guru that must be trying to get validation from everybody. And that was the last thing I was trying to do. I was actually trying to give them hope, which was really, really sad to see.
Yeah. Don't you think though? I mean, because we deal with this a lot, and we can optimize someone's hormones and we can do our part on our side, but people that still struggle with this intimacy issue in their marriage, don't you think at some point it comes down to just maybe they don't enjoy their partner anymore, or maybe that they're just on such a different page with their partner that it's like, we look at it as like something that we should be, everyone should enjoy, and it's such a great thing. But like you said, there's many women that just flat out don't want to. And is it that they don't want to, or is it they've just become so like disconnected from their partner over time that it's not even there anymore?
Well, I think that it also becomes routine. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's like, everybody has their roles in the relationship. The man is off doing his thing. He wants to come home. He wants to feel desired and needed and wanted. But then the woman is taking care of the home and the kids, and then she's tired and doesn't feel like she's getting the validation. And so there's a huge like disconnect when it comes to communication, and even like just feeling that day to day, throughout the day, the little things, just like, I love you, I miss you, I can't wait to see you later. Or like, thank you for, providing what you do. Thank you for taking care of our home and our children. And just those little bits add up to something so much bigger. But also like having that open communication, like, what do you need from me? What can I do for you? Instead of always being me. Yeah. And when you kind of flip the switch, that's where like the beauty and the rewards are had.
Yeah, I would say that you definitely have to play therapist a lot more than I do with a lot of the women that you speak with and that you see from day to day. Like the guys are easy for the most part. Like they just want to make sure that, they can get an erection and that they don't go too fast. Yeah. Those are their two issues with sex, honestly. I mean, and then, of course, there's a lot of times there might be disconnect if they have a really high libido and their wife isn't there, and that causes a lot of problems in their relationship. But, assuming that we get the husband and wife in together, we get both of their hormones optimized, they get both on the same page with that. I mean, the guys have it pretty easy a lot of the time.
They do. And we still, one of the first things like getting our female patients on hormones is usually within a few weeks, the libido is one of the first things that we see come back. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way for everybody. So we do have other options. And I think that that's one of the things that I have to emphasize the most is like just being patient. And reaching out and letting us know like, hey, like we've been doing this for a little bit. I'm not seeing improvement here, because we do have other options. We have supplements, we have peptides.
There's so many options. I mean, I think we probably have a tool for just about any sort of sexual dysfunction issue when it comes to what's going on physically. Now, mentally, that's a whole different story. But, we can do our part, at least in that. And I think, like you said, it's just important for people to have open communication with us and tell us what you're experiencing, if there's any issues, what you need from us. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's kind of like talk a little bit about, so like one thing I see a lot of time is that there's this assumption that someone's age kind of predetermines what their level of sexual activity or even level of sexual interest should be, right? Like, don't you think that, in society, we kind of judge if someone's, older, quote unquote, older, that they probably have less interest in sex, or that it's just normal that maybe their body isn't able to perform anymore, and that's okay because they're just getting older and they shouldn't want to.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. It just reminded me of yesterday. I got a call from one of our older gentlemen that's a patient, and I hadn't talked to him since he started. And that's exactly what he said to me. He was like, well, I just wanted to let you both know that like I feel like a teenager again, and I'm chasing my wife around the house. Yeah. And he's like, I'm so thankful that she's doing it too, because we're both on the same page. And
it's a ridiculous notion that like we should have to give up something that we love or enjoy simply because we're getting older. And I think a lot of these people are just kind of used to that because of A, like society norms, but B, we hear so much that they had that conversation with their provider and they're just told that it's just part of aging. And it's just kind of like this generalized acceptance that, well, that's a part of my life that's going to diminish and just slowly fade away as I age. But that absolutely doesn't have to be the case.
No, and we're kind of referring to men right now, but females too. And it is happening at an earlier and earlier age, when we're dealing with PCOS and stuff like that too. A lot of these women that are going through endometriosis and stuff, it's extremely uncomfortable for them. And so that's one of the like main reasons we hear from women is like vaginal dryness and pain. So if we can address those two issues, which with testosterone and progesterone, we're going to do that for the majority. Estradiol for our women in menopause, but
and estradiol for men too. And I think that that's something that gets overlooked a lot. And that's kind of like on a side note tangent, but a lot of these guys that we've seen that come to us from other clinics that are put on these estrogen blockers, and even though their testosterone is good, they're having all these same sexual dysfunction issues. Like they can't get an erection, they don't have a libido, they don't have interest in sex, because some of these clinics are just crashing these men's estrogen so low and they don't even realize that that's causing the problem.
So I know we kind of like hit on this just briefly earlier, but I want to talk about the importance of like couples doing hormone replacement therapy together.
Yeah, we see that all the time. Like, I mean, I'd say probably 70-80% of time, if a married person comes in first, they pretty much always bring in their spouse within, a month or two afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's really important because it's not just going to change even just the libido. That is part of it, and it's really important. But when it comes to the emotional side, energy, and all of the other health benefits, like you really do need to work as a team in your relationship. It's really important, and your health should be the main priority in your relationship, and that should also help with your communication, which comes along with the intimacy and everything else.
So like, one of the things that we hear a lot when people come to us, and if we do dive into the sexual issues, the two common remedies are probably for women an antidepressant, and then for a guy maybe an antidepressant and or something like Cialis or Viagra to help with the erectile dysfunction. And so it's crazy because these things, I mean, they are just Band-Aid treatments and they're not addressing the root cause. Whereas like if we're looking at things on a hormonal level, which tend to cause a lot of these issues, and we're addressing the underlying issue, then we're correcting it from the root cause. And then, it's improving the sexual function, but it's also improving, the mood, the mental well-being, the energy, all the other health benefits that surround it.
Yeah. And when in reality, things like that, like the antidepressants and stuff, they're actually going to do the complete opposite. Mm-hmm. And they're going to remove the sex drive and
cause erectile dysfunction. And that's what's so interesting about some of these guys that we've seen come to us. And it's like, they're put on that in the first place to try to help something, but it's actually so, it's counterproductive, and it's causing more sexual dysfunction. And so it's just kind of like this vicious cycle these guys get trapped in.
Yeah, I'd be curious to get some feedback and kind of just see like what on average does like you as a couple, what does your sex life look like? Mm-hmm. Like, are you having sex once a week? Are you having sex, twice a week? Are you having sex once a month? Like,
what do you think is average for most people?
Going off of what I hear from like people I know, it's a lot less than I would have thought. I mean, I'll hear maybe like once a week. Mm-hmm. It's very rare that I hear multiple times a week.
Yeah. Well, I think it should be, as often as you want to, or as often as you like it to be. I mean, that probably looks different for everybody. I mean, but I think a lot of people a lot of guys I know would love to have daily sex.
But that is what's healthy for us.
I think so.
Everybody should be having sex every day.
I do too. I agree.
Every day. Multiple times a day,
for sure. No, but I feel fortunate to have such a healthy sex life, like we have. But I know there's a lot of people too that literally, you talked about once a week or less. Like, there's people that literally are like birthday, anniversary, holiday
I know,
sex.
So
it's crazy. You're talking like a handful of times a year potentially. I know guys that still talk about like they get excited to go to like concerts or they, any event that involves like drinking. They get excited because they think if their wife drinks enough, it's like, oh, I might get lucky tonight, or I might get to have sex tonight. And that's sad that's really occurring, sad. Especially with someone that you're married to or in a relationship with.
Yeah. And as a female, like I know from my point of view, like I view myself as being like a very strong, passionate woman. And I want to have that with my partner. Mm-hmm. I want to have that connection. And also like that is something that is special between, two partners, is that intimacy and stuff, and like even experiencing things outside of the normal with each other and just having fun and making it playful.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome for that.
Okay. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. Yeah, you could be getting it once a week.
That's a good.
So, to wrap this up, I would just really encourage everybody to have that tough conversation. It shouldn't be tough, but I totally understand that it can be, and it isn't something that's always comfortable for everybody to kind of, bring up. But if you're struggling, if there's certain areas that you even see like in your partner, like I would challenge you to even have those hard conversations in love and just be like, this is a problem and I want to help you. I want to fix this. Let's do this together.
Yeah. And I know like for a lot of guys, like it can be a big ego thing, and I understand that, but it's not, it's worth it to try to, have the conversations and address it than to just not do something that you enjoy because you're too prideful to bring up that there might be an issue and to just address it and acknowledge it and take care of it.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us. We really appreciate the support. And if you enjoyed this, please like, share, comment. Don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate you. Thank you.
See you guys next time.